As we enter the twilight years of life, time suddenly becomes the most precious gift. Yet, sadly, many people find themselves caught in a whirlwind of worries, regrets about the past, or unfulfilled ambitions. They forget that true happiness does not come from owning too much, but from letting go and cherishing what they already have. The Buddha once taught, "Having few desires and knowing contentment is true wealth." This teaching is not only for those who choose a monastic life, but is a golden truth for all of us, especially for the elderly. Living simply does not mean giving up everything. It means focusing on what truly matters, the things that bring joy, peace, and meaning to life. 1. Let go of the burden of possessions. Happiness lies not in having more, but in needing less. When we are young, we are often swept up in the dream of wealth, large houses, luxurious cars, and overflowing bank accounts. Yet, as we grow older, we begin to realize that material possessions don't bring true happiness. Instead, it is the lightness and peace in our hearts that truly matter. Imagine this: a small but tidy room, a peaceful afternoon with a cup of tea, sharing stories with your loved ones. These moments hold far more meaning than owning dozens of luxurious items that fail to bring real joy. Story 1. The Old Father and His Collection of Books. There once was an old man who lived in a large house filled to the brim with belongings. Antique collectibles, clothes, books, paintings accumulated over decades. He thought of these as precious treasures, a testament to his hard-working life. But as he aged, he could no longer maintain his home as before. The items that once brought pride now gathered dust and cluttered his space. He began to feel trapped by the very possessions he had worked so hard to acquire. Finally, he decided to let go. He donated his valuable books to a library, gave his clothes to those in need, and sold unused items. His home became bright and spacious once more. He realized that all he needed was a few favorite books, a comfortable chair, and meaningful conversations with family. Lesson: happiness doesn't come from what you own, but from letting go and focusing on what truly matters. Story 2. Grandma's Golden Ring. An elderly grandmother lived with her son's family. She had a cherished golden ring that she had saved for years to buy. To her, it symbolized perseverance and was the most valuable item she owned. Yet every time she wore it, she felt anxious, afraid of losing it, damaging it, or having someone mishandle it. One day, while sitting with her granddaughter, the little girl innocently asked, "Grandma, your ring is beautiful, but why do you look unhappy every time you see it?" The question startled her. She realized that her attachment to the ring had robbed her of the joy of the present moment. A few days later, she handed the ring to her daughter-in-law, saying, "I want you to keep this as a family keepsake. I don't need it anymore to prove anything." From then on, she felt lighter, no longer burdened by worry, and could fully enjoy her time with her family. Story 3. The Happiest Farmer. In a small village, there was a farmer known for his simple and joyful life. His neighbors often asked, "Why are you always happy? You don't have much money or a lot of land like others." The farmer smiled and said, "I don't need much. I have a roof over my head, a small garden to grow vegetables, and a family who laughs with me during meals. I have everything I need." His neighbors still didn't understand and asked, "Don't you ever wish for more land, more wealth?" The farmer replied, "I used to, but then I realized the more you want, the more you suffer. True happiness is knowing that you already have enough." Tips for letting go to find happiness. Ask yourself, is this really necessary? Whenever you feel tempted to shop or accumulate things, pause and ask yourself, will this bring me long-term happiness or just a fleeting sense of satisfaction? Many retirees find themselves shopping excessively to fill an emotional void. But remember, it's not the items you buy, but the relationships and meaningful moments that truly fill your heart. Focus on things money can't buy. Some things like health, inner peace, and time with loved ones are priceless. Invest in these rather than chasing after superficial possessions. Practice. Spend time playing with your grandchildren, reading your favorite books, tending to a small garden, or meditating. These simple activities allow you to experience the richness of the present. Be grateful and appreciate what you have. Elderly people often feel regret for what they didn't do, but life itself is a gift. Just waking up to a new day, seeing the sunlight, and being alive is extraordinary. Gratitude exercise. Every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Over time, you'll realize you already have all you need to be happy. Simplify your physical surroundings. Try decluttering your home and giving away items you no longer need. A tidy and airy space brings a sense of lightness and allows you to focus on what's truly important. Inspirational quote: "Simplicity is the key to unlocking the door to happiness." Dalai Lama. Conclusion: live simply to live happily. When you let go of the burden of possessions, you'll feel as though a weight has been lifted. A lighter heart and a free spirit are the greatest gifts of all. Living simply doesn't mean living without. It means living freely, free from the chains of materialism and free to savor each moment of life. Remember, the wealthiest person is not the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. And you already have everything you need to live happily right now. 2. Learn to let go of the past. The past is a lesson, not a burden. Old age is like a book filled with chapters of our lives. Some chapters are joyous and full of happiness, while others are filled with pain and regret. As we grow older, we often find ourselves dwelling on the past, reliving happy memories or lamenting mistakes. But ask yourself, do the things of the past still hold meaning if they only cause you more pain? The Buddha taught, holding on to the past is like clutching a hot coal. You only end up burning yourself. What we need is not to erase the past, but to learn how to release the negative emotions attached to it, so we can move forward with lightness in our hearts. Story 1. The Woman and the Leaky Water Pot. Once upon a time, there was a woman who often carried water from the stream to her house using a yoke with 2 pots. One of the pots was old and cracked, and each time she carried it, only half of the water would remain by the time she got home. The cracked pot felt ashamed and said one day, "I'm truly sorry for not being able to hold all the water, making your efforts go to waste." The woman smiled and replied, "On the path we walk, it is because of your leaking water that the flowers along the way have bloomed. You haven't caused me any loss. Instead, you've made the path more beautiful." The cracked pot realized that its flaws did not make it useless. Rather, they contributed to something beautiful in their own way. Lesson: everyone has imperfections and makes mistakes. Instead of drowning in regret, look back to see the value and lessons that the past has brought you. Story 2. The Wealthy Man and 2 Jars. A wealthy man was haunted by the mistakes of his past. He couldn't forget his failures, the hurtful words he had spoken, or the opportunities he had missed. Even though he had everything in the present, wealth, family, his mind was weighed down with guilt and regret. One day, he visited a monk for advice. The monk placed 2 jars in front of him, one filled with clear water and the other filled with mud. The monk said, "The jar of mud represents your current mind, heavy with regret and sorrow. But if you empty it and fill it with clean water, you will see your mind become clear and pure again." The man was silent. He understood that letting go of the past didn't mean forgetting everything, but rather releasing the negative emotions to make room for peace and clarity. Why can't the past be changed? When you throw a stone, you cannot call it back. The past is the same, it is unchangeable. However, your attitude toward the past can be changed. There are 2 ways to look at the past. You can see it as a thorn, causing pain whenever you remember it. You can see it as a lesson, helping you grow and live better. The way you choose will determine your mood and happiness. How to let go of the past. 1. Recognize your emotions. Take time to face your feelings. Perhaps you are still angry at someone or regret things you couldn't accomplish. Write down these emotions to understand them. Practice. Each evening, write in a journal about how you feel. For instance, "Today I felt sad thinking about an old friend." Acknowledging your emotions helps them gradually fade away. 2. Learn to forgive. Forgiveness is not only about freeing others, but also about freeing yourself. When you forgive someone or yourself, you will feel lighter. Practice. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat, I forgive myself for the mistakes of the past. I forgive others for what they have done. 3. Live in the present. The present moment is the only time you truly own. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived. But the present is a gift you can cherish. Practice. Whenever you find yourself thinking about the past, focus on your breath or the sounds and colors around you. This helps bring your mind back to the present. Story 3. The Old Man and the Stone. An old man lived by a large river. One day, people saw him struggling to lift a heavy stone from the riverbed. His neighbors asked, "Why are you doing that? The stone doesn't bother you." The old man replied, "I don't know, but every time I see the stone, it reminds me of the painful memories of my past. It's like a reminder of the pain I can't forget." A neighbor said, "But the more you try to lift that stone, the more tired you become. Why not leave it there as part of the river?" The old man thought for a moment and realized the stone hadn't hurt him. It was his effort to carry it that caused his pain. Practical tips for letting go. 1. Turn the past into inspiration. Instead of looking at the past with regret, focus on the valuable lessons it has taught you. Mistakes are experiences, and pain is an opportunity to appreciate happiness in the present. 2. Don't let the past control the future. Don't let a bad experience from the past stop you from enjoying what the present has to offer. If you've lost an important relationship, open your heart to embrace love and kindness from others. 3. Accept that the past is a part of you. There's no need to erase the past because it has shaped who you are today. But let it rest peacefully, like a book you've finished reading, instead of letting it bind your soul. Conclusion. Let go to move forward. Letting go of the past isn't easy, but it is an important step toward finding true happiness. When you release the burden, you will feel lightness in your heart and see the beauty that life in the present has to offer. The Buddha taught, look at life as a river, let everything flow, and you will find peace. Let the past stay behind. Live fully in the present, and savor every precious moment of old age. 3. Focus on core values. A meaningful life is one lived true to what matters most. As we enter old age, time is no longer as abundant as it once was. This is a stage for reflecting on life and identifying what truly matters. Yet, many people become entangled in unimportant worries, wealth, status, or the expectations of others. As a result, they chase after external distractions, forgetting the core values within their souls. The Buddha taught, the most important thing is a peaceful mind. When the mind is at peace, everything else will follow. Focusing on core values is the key to living meaningfully, calmly, and happily in old age. What are core values? Core values are the most important aspects of your life. What brings you happiness, peace, and a sense of purpose? These may include health, family love and connection, contributing to the community, personal passions or hobbies, faith and inner peace. These values don't come from comparisons or societal pressures but arise from within. When you recognize and focus on them, you won't be distracted by trivial concerns. Story 1: The Father and the Apple Tree. An elderly father lived in a small house beside a garden. Throughout his life, he was always busy working, striving to earn enough money to secure a bright future for his children. However, in the process, he forgot the most important thing: spending time with his family. In his later years, he often sat under the apple tree in his garden, watching his grandchildren play. One day, his son came to him and said, "Dad, I remember as a child, I used to wish you would play with me under this apple tree, but you were always too busy. Do you regret it now?" The father looked at the tree and replied, "Yes, I regret not realizing that there were things more important than work. But thankfully, I still have time to make up for it. Thank you for not resenting me." From that day on, he spent every evening playing with his grandchildren under the apple tree. He realized that the most precious wealth wasn't what he earned, but the moments of love he shared. Lesson: focusing on core values, time and family love, brings true happiness, even if you've missed it in the past. Story 2. The wealthiest man in the village. In a small village, there was a very wealthy man who owned vast lands and treasures. Yet, he always felt unfulfilled, anxious, and unhappy. In contrast, an elderly woman lived by the river in a tiny hut with a small garden. One day, the wealthy man asked the woman, "Why are you always smiling, even though you are so poor?" She replied, "Every morning, I wake up to the sound of birds singing and watch the sunrise. I have vegetables from my garden, water from the river, and a heart that wants for nothing. That's why I'm happy." The wealthy man realized that what he lacked wasn't material possessions but contentment and an appreciation for life's simple pleasures. How to focus on core values. 1. Identify what matters most to you. Take time to reflect and ask yourself, what brings me the greatest happiness? Could be health, family, spiritual faith, or helping others. Once you identify what matters most, it will be easier to let go of unnecessary distractions. Practice. Write down 3 things you consider most important in life. Make them your top priorities. 2. Dedicate time to what is meaningful. Old age is the time to enjoy life rather than chase after meaningless pursuits. If family is your core value, spend more time with your children and grandchildren. If health is your priority, exercise regularly and eat well. Example: a grandfather decides to tell bedtime stories to his grandchildren every night instead of watching TV. Over time, these stories become cherished memories for both generations. 3. Let go of unnecessary expectations. Many elderly people feel pressured to meet the expectations of their family or society. But remember, you don't need to live to please others. Live for yourself and the values that matter most to you. Story: an elderly grandmother used to feel sad because she couldn't help her children as much as she once did. But after realizing that her most important role was bringing joy and offering loving advice, she felt at peace with herself. 4. Slow down and enjoy the present. The core values of life aren't about how much you accomplish, but how deeply you enjoy each moment. When you eat, savor each bite. When you converse, listen deeply. Practice every day. Spend 10 minutes sitting quietly, observing your surroundings, and feeling grateful for what you have. Story 3. The Fisherman and the Businessman. A businessman went on vacation in a fishing village. There, he saw a fisherman relaxing under a tree, playing a musical instrument. The businessman asked, "Why aren't you out fishing?" The fisherman replied, "I've already caught enough fish for today." The businessman pressed, "Why don't you fish more to earn more money and buy a bigger boat?" The fisherman asked, "Why should I do that?" The businessman explained, "So you can earn even more money, live comfortably, and eventually retire to enjoy life." The fisherman smiled and said, "I'm already doing that now." Lesson: happiness isn't about achieving more, but about appreciating what you already have. Conclusion: live true to what matters most. When you focus on your core values, life becomes lighter and more meaningful. Don't let superficial things distract you. Return to family, health, and inner peace. The Buddha taught, "The wealthiest person is the one who knows contentment, and the happiest person is the one who desires nothing." In your later years, live fully with what truly matters. You deserve it. 4. Practicing gratitude. Gratitude is the source of happiness. It is often said, happiness doesn't come from having more, but from being grateful for what you already have. However, gratitude isn't simply about saying, "Thank you." It is a state of mind, a habit of thought that allows you to appreciate the small things, from what exists in your daily life to the experiences you've had. The Buddha taught, "Those who are grateful and treasure what they have are the happiest people." For the elderly, Gratitude has the power to soothe sorrow, heal emotional wounds, and bring peace. Story: The Old Man and the Wildflower. An elderly man lived alone in a small house on a hill. He once had a family, a successful career, and a fulfilling life. But as the years passed, his loved ones gradually left him. His health declined, and his home grew emptier and lonelier. Each day, he sat on his porch, looking down at the valley below, feeling overwhelmed by sadness. He often thought, "Life has been so unfair. I've lost everything." His loneliness deepened, making him feel that life had lost its meaning. One morning, as the first rays of sunlight streamed onto his porch, he noticed a tiny wildflower blooming just outside his door. It was a delicate flower with white petals and a golden center. In that moment, he felt as though the flower was smiling at him. It wasn't grand or vibrant, but it stood there, strong and serene amidst the harsh surroundings. He bent down to take a closer look and realized that despite the challenges of its environment, the flower thrived and shone brightly. Suddenly, he felt a sense of lightness in his heart. He thought, "If a tiny flower can be so resilient, why can't I?" From that day on, he began focusing on the small but meaningful things in his life. A warm, sunny morning, a simple yet delicious meal, or the sound of birds singing in the garden. He realized that even though life had brought him loss, there was still so much to be grateful for. He wrote in his journal, "Thank you, life, for allowing me to wake up today, to feel, and to love." These small moments gradually filled his heart, replacing the emptiness. He no longer viewed life with sorrow but through the lens of gratitude. He felt as though he had rediscovered happiness, not through what he possessed, but through how he chose to see life. What does gratitude bring? Healing emotional pain. Gratitude helps you see the positive side of things rather than focusing on what's lost. Bringing peace of mind. When you are grateful, your mind stops comparing, and you feel lighter, deepening your connection with life. Each moment becomes meaningful, like a precious gift from life itself. Practicing gratitude. Write a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Could be your health, your family, or a refreshing breeze. Share your gratitude. Say thank you to those who bring you joy, even if it's for something small. View life with gratitude. Regardless of your circumstances, try to find the positive. Like the man in the story, find beauty in a tiny wildflower. Conclusion: gratitude is the key to happiness. Gratitude doesn't change your life, but it changes how you see it. When you practice gratitude, you will realize that every day is a precious gift. At any age, you can find joy and happiness in the little things around you. The Buddha taught, "Be grateful," for gratitude brings serenity to the heart. You can start today by looking at life and asking yourself, what do I have to be grateful for? The answer will always be more than you think. 5. Do not fear change. Change is an inevitable part of life. The Buddha taught, life is impermanent. Everything in life, whether material possessions, emotions, our bodies, or relationships, undergoes change. Yet, instead of embracing this as a natural law, many people, especially as they age, feel fearful and resistant to change. They worry about loss, declining health, the departure of loved ones, or their roles in the family and society becoming less defined. However, do you know that change can also bring opportunities to rediscover life, learn new things, and enjoy fresh experiences? The Buddha also taught, be like a river, always changing, always flowing. It is in movement that life truly exists. Why is change scary? People often fear change because they cling to familiarity, daily routines, a way of life, or a specific role. All these provide a sense of security. But as old age approaches, everything begins to shift, and the loss of control can be unsettling. Physical changes. The body is no longer as strong or agile as it once was. Family dynamics change. Children grow up and start their own families, leaving older adults feeling lonely. Role changes, from a hardworking employee to a retiree, or from being the family pillar to someone who needs care. However, remember that change doesn't just bring challenges. It also offers opportunities to explore a new chapter in life. Story: the unfinished painting. There was a famous painter who lived to the age of 80. Throughout his life, he created hundreds of masterpieces displayed around the world. But in his later years, his hands began to tremble, his eyesight deteriorated, and he could no longer create the precise, detailed strokes he once could. One day, he decided to create one last painting, a piece he wanted to dedicate to himself. However, the more he painted, the more frustrated he became. The lines were no longer sharp, and the colors lacked the vibrancy he once achieved. Finally, he put down his brush and gazed at the unfinished painting, sighing, "Perhaps my time has passed." A close friend visited him and noticed his disappointment. The friend said, "This painting may not resemble your previous works, but why does that matter? Instead of trying to replicate your old style, why not create something entirely new?" The painter thought about it and decided to start over. This time, he painted freely, allowing his emotions to guide him. The result was a painting without intricate details, but one that carried a simple, genuine beauty reflecting his true self at 80. When he finished, he smiled and said, "I've realized that even though my body has changed, I can still create in a different way." That's the beauty of change. It gives us a chance to be reborn. Lesson: change is not an ending, but an opportunity to discover new, meaningful ways of living that suit the present moment. How to embrace change. 1. Accept impermanence. Remember that nothing in life is permanent. When you accept change as a natural law, fear will diminish. Practice. Every morning, remind yourself, life is always changing, and I am ready to adapt. This helps you approach changes with an open heart. 2. Find opportunities in change. Every change brings new opportunities. When children grow up and leave, it's time to focus on yourself. When your health declines, it's a chance to take better care of your body and enjoy a slower pace. Example: many retirees discover new hobbies like painting, learning to play an instrument, or joining book clubs. A change in roles isn't a loss. It's an opportunity to redefine yourself. 3. Welcome change as a friend. Instead of resisting change, view it as a companion guiding you to a new path. You cannot control everything, but you can control how you respond. Practice. Each time you face a significant change, ask yourself, what lesson can this teach me? This attitude helps you see change in a positive light. 4. Keep your spirit youthful. Change may age your body, but don't let it age your spirit. Stay curious, eager to learn, and optimistic. Practice. Take a new class. Try something you've never done before, or connect with younger people to learn from their perspectives. This not only brings joy, but also keeps you feeling young at heart. Conclusion: change is an opportunity for rebirth. Life's changes are not something to fear, but an essential part of growth. In old age, instead of worrying about what you can no longer do, focus on what you can do now. Remember, every new day is an opportunity to rediscover life. The Buddha taught, like a lotus rising from the mud, we can only grow through change. Embrace change with a positive mindset because it is the path to true peace and happiness. 6. Let go of the past. The past is a lesson, not a burden. As we age, we often spend more time reminiscing about the past. Some immerse themselves in fond memories, but many carry regrets, anger, and sorrow. They become tethered to the past, like a heavy anchor holding them back, preventing them from fully enjoying the present. The Buddha taught, letting go is the path to peace. This doesn't mean forgetting the past, but learning to release the negative emotions attached to it. You can't change what has already happened, but you can change how you perceive it, enabling you to move forward with a lighter heart. Story: the man with two empty pots. Once, There was an old man who always carried 2 empty pots on his shoulders. He wandered throughout his village, never setting them down. Even though his back was bent and his legs weak, he kept carrying the pots. A friend asked, "Why don't you put those pots down? They're empty, and you don't need them for anything." The old man replied, "I can't let them go because they hold my memories. One pot carries my painful experiences, and the other holds my unfulfilled dreams." The friend responded, "But don't you see? These pots no longer serve any purpose. They don't hold water, they don't help you, and they only make your back ache and your legs tire. Why not set them down and continue your journey with ease?" The old man hesitated but finally decided to try. As he placed the pots on the ground, he felt as if a great burden had been lifted. He realized that he had been the one holding on to them, not the other way around. Smiling, he said, "Life never asked me to carry these. I just didn't know how to let go." Why is letting go of the past so hard? Attachment to emotions. We often think that letting go of the past means forgetting the people, memories, or events associated with it. But in reality, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer letting negative emotions control us. Fear of losing identity. Many believe their past defines who they are. They fear that letting go will make them lose their sense of self. Self-blame. Some feel regret for past mistakes, thinking that if they had acted differently, things would have been better. But they forget that no one can change what has already happened. How to let go of the past. 1. Accept what has happened. The past cannot be changed, but how you view it can. See your mistakes and suffering as valuable lessons that have helped you grow and understand life better. Practice. Sit quietly, take deep breaths, and remind yourself, "I accept my past because it has helped shape who I am today." 2. Forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the burden of anger and regret. Forgiving yourself is just as important because everyone makes mistakes. Practice. Write a letter to yourself or someone else, expressing your emotions. Conclude with, "I forgive, because I want to live in peace." 3. Focus on the present. When you focus on what is happening now, you won't be haunted by the past. Life truly exists only in the present, and that is where your attention should be. Practice. Spend at least 10 minutes each day focusing on your breath or listening to the sounds around you. This helps bring your mind back to the present. 4. Turn the past into strength. Instead of letting the past weigh you down, use it as a source of motivation. The lessons you've learned from suffering can help you become stronger and more compassionate. Example: someone who has failed in business can use that experience to guide and mentor others, helping them avoid similar mistakes. Benefits of letting go. A lighter mind. You'll no longer feel haunted by the past, and instead, you'll experience peace. Enjoying the present. Letting go allows you to focus on what you have now, helping you appreciate life more. Better health. Studies show that people who don't hold on to negative emotions often enjoy better mental and physical health. Conclusion: let go to be free. Letting go of the past is a way to free your soul from unnecessary burdens. It doesn't mean forgetting, but learning to live harmoniously with what has happened. When you let go, you will feel light and truly free. The Buddha taught, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." This is the key to living peacefully and happily, especially in old age when every day is a gift to be treasured. 7. Contribute to society. The greatest happiness comes from bringing joy to others. As people age, many feel they no longer have much to offer. They think they're not strong enough, can't work, or can't support their families as they used to. But the truth is, a person's value isn't measured by how much they can do. It lies in how they bring meaning to their own life and the lives of others. The Buddha taught, "The greatest joy comes from helping others alleviate suffering and find peace." Contributing to society doesn't have to be grand. It can come from small actions filled with compassion and love. Story: the old woman and her knitted scarves. In a small village, An elderly woman lived alone in a modest house. Every day, she sat on her porch knitting scarves. Villagers often asked her, "You're old and have no one to give these scarves to. Why do you keep doing this?" She would smile and reply, "I don't knit these scarves to sell or keep. I make them to give to those who need them during the winter. When I see others staying warm, I feel as though I am being warmed too." One day, when the weather turned cold, she brought the scarves she had made to give to the poor children in the village. The children cheered with joy as they received their gifts. Though her hands were tired and her back bent, her heart was filled with happiness. Lesson: happiness doesn't come from what you keep for yourself, but from what you are willing to share with others. Why does contributing to society bring happiness? A sense of purpose. Helping others reminds you that you are still valuable and capable of making a difference. Connecting with the community. Contributing to society strengthens your bonds with others and reduces feelings of loneliness. Spreading joy. When you bring happiness to others, that joy often finds its way back to you. Ways to contribute to society in old age. 1. Share your life experiences. With years of life behind you, you can be a teacher or mentor to the younger generation. Your wisdom and insights can illuminate the path for others. Example: participate in storytelling sessions at community centers or teach your grandchildren valuable life skills like time management, saving money, or overcoming challenges. 2. Join volunteer activities. If your health permits, consider volunteering for charitable activities such as helping those in need, supporting charity centers, or simply contributing what you can. Example: some elderly people choose to volunteer at hospitals, providing comfort to patients or reading to orphan children. 3. Inspire others through art or personal hobbies. If you have talents like painting, playing a musical instrument, or crafting, use them to spread joy. Small gifts or simple performances can brighten someone's day. Example: a retired grandfather organized free art classes for children in his village. The children's joy became his motivation to live a healthy and happy life every day. 4. Build lasting value. Some people choose to make long-term contributions to their communities by raising funds, supporting education for underprivileged children, or joining environmental protection organizations. This is a way to leave a meaningful legacy. Example: Bill Gates, though retired, dedicates his time and wealth to helping communities worldwide through his charitable foundation. Small actions, big impact. Don't think that only big gestures can make a difference. Sometimes, a simple smile, a kind word, or a small act of kindness can create significant change. Practice ideas. Spend time each week calling an old friend or a relative you haven't seen in a while. When shopping or walking around, buy a small gift for an elderly street vendor. If you enjoy crafts, make small gifts to share with neighbors or children. Conclusion: spread happiness to receive happiness. Contributing to society isn't just for the young or the strong. It's a responsibility and an opportunity for people of all ages. In old age, you can bring value not just through your actions, but through your loving presence and wisdom. The Buddha taught, "The giver is the richest person." When you're ready to share, you'll find joy and peace in your soul. So start today with small acts of kindness and make every day a meaningful one. 8. Focus on the present. Live fully in this moment, the key to inner peace. Humans often get trapped in two mental states: regretting the past and worrying about the future. Elderly people are especially prone to this, as they reflect on what has passed or worry about the days to come. But do you know that happiness isn't far away? It exists right here, in the present moment. The Buddha taught, "The present is a gift." That's why it's called present. Only when you focus on the present can you truly live and enjoy each moment to its fullest. Why is living in the present important? The past is gone. The future is yet to come. What has happened cannot be changed, and the future is always uncertain. You cannot control either, but you can take charge of how you live in the present. The present is where life actually happens. Life only occurs in the now when you are breathing, feeling, and being. If your mind drifts to the past or future, you miss out on the precious joys right in front of you. Focusing on the present reduces anxiety. When you anchor your mind in the present, you'll notice that most worries are just assumptions in your head. Reality is often far more peaceful than we imagine. Story: The Monk's Cup of Tea. There was a man who constantly lived in anxiety. He couldn't stop regretting missed opportunities and worrying about the future. One day, he visited a monk and asked, "How can I stop worrying and live happily?" The monk smiled, poured him a cup of tea, and said, "Drink this tea." The man took the cup, but his mind was preoccupied with the things that troubled him. As he drank, he didn't taste the tea's flavor or notice its fragrant aroma. The monk observed him and said, "You didn't truly drink this tea. You held it, but your mind was elsewhere. How can you live happily if you cannot even enjoy a simple cup of tea?" The man was speechless. From that day on, he began paying more attention to what he was doing. Even small actions like drinking tea or walking. He realized that when his mind and body were in harmony, joy naturally followed. Lesson: when you focus on the present, everything becomes more meaningful. Even something as simple as drinking tea can bring happiness. How to live in the present. 1. Learn to savor small things. Pay attention to what you're doing. Whether it's drinking water, walking, or talking, notice your breath, the sounds around you, and the sensations in your body. Practice: when eating, chew slowly and savor the flavors of each bite instead of rushing through your meal. 2. Practice meditation and mindfulness. Meditation is one of the best ways to anchor your mind in the present. Simply sitting still and focusing on your breath can make your worries fade away. Practice: spend 5 to 10 minutes daily sitting quietly, taking deep breaths, and focusing on how your body feels. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. 3. Limit overthinking. When your mind starts worrying about the future or regretting the past, remind yourself, the present is all I have. This helps bring your focus back to the now. 4. Enjoy simple pleasures. Don't think you need grand events to be happy. A cool breeze, birdsong, or warm sunlight are all things to cherish. Practice: each morning, step outside, take a deep breath of fresh air, and look at the trees or sky. Find joy in these small moments. Benefits of living in the present. Relaxed mind. You'll no longer be haunted by worries about the future or sadness about the past. Deeper appreciation of life. Each moment becomes more meaningful and memorable. Improved mental and physical health. Living in the present reduces stress, improves sleep, and promotes balance in your body. Conclusion: being present is being true to yourself. When you learn to live in the present, you'll find that everything in life becomes clearer and more beautiful. No matter your age, the present is always the most precious moment you have. The Buddha taught, the past cannot be held, and the future cannot be known. Only the present is real. Live fully in this moment, because it is here that true happiness resides. 9. Find joy within your soul. True happiness comes from within. As people grow older, many realize that external pleasures like wealth, fame, or material possessions no longer hold the same importance. These are fleeting and cannot fill the emptiness within. True happiness isn't about what you have, but how you feel about life from the inside. The Buddha taught, turn inward to yourself. A peaceful heart is the source of all happiness. Finding joy within your soul is a journey to living in harmony and fulfillment with yourself. Story: the jewel in the pocket. Once, there was a poor man wandering in search of fortune. He constantly felt unhappy, blaming himself for not achieving a wealthy life. One day, he met a monk. Seeing the man's sadness, the monk smiled and said, "There is a precious jewel in your pocket, but you don't realize it. Why do you search for happiness elsewhere?" Surprised, the man searched his pocket and discovered a glittering jewel, a treasure he had unknowingly carried all along. He realized that he had been wealthy all these years but hadn't recognized its value. Lesson: the story is a metaphor for each of our lives. The jewel in the pocket represents the soul, the inner peace and joy that already resides within us. Yet, many people fail to see it, constantly seeking happiness in external things. How to find joy within your soul. 1. Turn inward. Spend time alone, listening to your emotions and understanding yourself. Many fear solitude, but it's an opportunity to explore your inner world. Practice. Set aside 10 minutes each day to sit quietly and do nothing. Simply listen to your breath and feel your presence. 2. Cultivate self-compassion. When you love and are kind to yourself, you'll feel lighter and happier. Don't blame yourself for past mistakes. Instead, learn to forgive and encourage yourself. Practice. Each night before bed, say to yourself, "Today, I did my best. I am grateful for my resilience and strength." 3. Find joy in simple things. Your soul becomes richer when you appreciate the simple things around you. A flower, a sunny morning, or a funny story can bring you joy. Practice. Every day, write down 3 things that made you feel happy or grateful. 4. Meditate to nurture inner peace. Meditation is one of the best ways to connect with your soul and discover inner joy. Through meditation, you'll experience calmness and free yourself from worries and negative emotions. Practice. Start with 5 minutes of meditation each day. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. 5. Live with passion. Spend time doing what you love, whether it's reading, gardening, painting, or playing music. These activities not only bring joy but also allow your soul to shine. Practice. If you don't have a hobby yet, try something new like crafting, yoga, or taking art classes. Benefits of finding joy within your soul. Improved mental health. A peaceful soul reduces stress and anxiety. Better relationships. A joyful soul radiates positive energy to those around you. Living fully. When you find joy within, every day becomes meaningful. Conclusion. Happiness comes from within. Your soul is the home of happiness. When you nurture inner peace, you'll realize that joy doesn't come from what you achieve but from how you live, feel, and love. The Buddha taught, turn inward to seek. When the heart is at peace, the world is at peace. Begin this journey today, a journey back to yourself, where true happiness resides. Thank you for joining me on this journey to explore the 9 essential principles for living a happy and fulfilling life in old age. Aging is not an end, but a new beginning, a chance to enjoy life with a peaceful heart, love, and gratitude. Every day is a gift, and you have the power to make it meaningful. Embrace these principles in your life, and I believe you will discover not only material wealth but also spiritual abundance and inner peace. Wishing you health, serenity, and happiness always.